Maybe this message found you because you've been giving too much of yourself to people, to screens, to noise. Availability has become a silent addiction. We're always on, always reachable, always saying yes, hoping that presence will earn us love, meaning, recognition. But what if I told you your excessive availability is not a virtue? It's a frequency leak, and this quiet leak might be why your reality isn't shifting. In the spiritual community, a wave called reality shifting is growing. People use scripting, deep meditation, and self-suggestion to enter new timelines. They want to dissolve one reality and awaken in another. But there's a truth most overlook. No new reality can emerge if your current self is still in full broadcast mode. Energetically, being always available to reply, to perform, to explain, is a signal to the universe that you're still stuck in the same identity loop. And identities define realities. When you stop trying to be seen, when you release the need to respond, to show up, to be good, a sacred stillness begins. That stillness is not silence. It is a portal. When you stop being always there, the field around you begins to shift. And in that shift, new versions of you, the ones you've only felt in dreams, start waking up. Let's begin the journey inward. Everyone thinks being accessible is kindness until they start getting tired of you. You know the feeling. Always picking up the phone, always replying within seconds, always saying sure, no problem. But slowly, something inside begins to feel depleted, not seen, not valued. This is the shadow of what psychologists call the niceness bias, a tendency to be agreeable, to avoid conflict, to stay available. But in this overextension, we begin to fade, and others begin to expect less of us. It's the reverse of the Galatea effect. Instead of lifting their perception of us, they start assuming we have nothing sacred left to protect. Your energy becomes ordinary. Your presence becomes background noise, and reality responds accordingly. No spark, no shift, just more of the same. The antidote begins with a sacred no, not out of rebellion, but out of reverence. Start creating pockets of space. Turn off notifications for a few hours each day. Choose not to reply instantly. Let the silence breathe. Your psychic energy, scattered in 100 directions, needs time to return home. Availability, when unconscious, becomes self-erasure. But when chosen with presence, it becomes power. And when your energy stops leaking, reality starts listening again. Shifters, those who consciously move between realities, speak of something unexpected. But the more you chase the shift, the further it slips away. That surrender, not effort, opens the portal. In countless communities, from Reddit threads to spiritual circles, one truth repeats itself. I only shifted when I stopped trying so hard. There's a paradox here. Many try to force a new reality while clinging tightly to their old identity, the one who needs to be available, liked, validated. They do the meditations, they write the scripts, they visualize, but deep down, they're still operating from the same frequency of control. The transformation never lands because the actor never leaves the stage. The breakthrough comes when we stop manipulating the outcome and let mystery guide the way. Think of Alice in Wonderland. She didn't plan. She followed the white rabbit. She surrendered to the unknown. This is the practice. Visualize the door. See it clearly. Then let go. Walk away from the compulsion to be reachable, responsive, seen, and trust that something is unfolding beneath your awareness, something that doesn't need to be managed, only allowed. This kind of absence is not disconnection, it is realignment. And when you no longer demand the shift finds you. You stop answering right away. You stop posting every moment. You let yourself disappear a little, and something strange happens. People start paying attention again. It's not manipulation, it's energy conservation. It's the sacred law of rhythm. Presence becomes valuable when it's no longer constant. On Reddit and in shifter communities, many have observed this pattern. When they became less accessible, they weren't forgotten. They were remembered differently. Respect deepened. Messages became more intentional. Connections felt richer. This is emotional magnetism in motion. Mystery pulls more power than predictability. Exclusivity awakens value. And the lack of immediate availability introduces urgency, the kind that attracts soul-aligned reciprocity. So how do you begin? Start with digital rituals. Set phone-free hours during the day. Delay responses by choice, not laziness. When you return, bring value, an insight, a shift, a dose of humor, or healing. Don't come back to prove. Come back to offer. It's not about being distant. It's about being intentional. When you stop being everywhere, your presence becomes sacred again. And in that sacredness, deeper realities are drawn to meet you. I discovered who I truly am the moment I stopped being available. No one to answer, no feed to scroll, no performance to sustain, just silence. And within that silence, something ancient stirred. For the first time in years, I could hear myself, not the self shaped by urgency or approval, but the one that had been waiting beneath it all. Neuroscience is now catching up with what mystics have always known. Bruce Lipton, Joe Dispenza. They speak of identity as a neurochemical habit. Each thought, each emotional reaction wires the same self into place. If you're always available, you reinforce the same neural signature. I must be present to be safe. I must respond to be loved. I must perform to exist. But when you disrupt that loop, when you step back and sit with the discomfort of absence, something begins to dissolve. That's where reprogramming begins. Here's a practice. Start a presence-absence journal. For 1 week, document the hours you spend offline, away from social media, messages, noise. Then note how you feel. Mood, focus, intuition, dreams, creativity. Ask yourself, who am I when no one is watching? What emerges when I'm not plugged in? And then begin to rewrite. Not the version of you that people expect, but the one your soul has been scripting all along. This is not withdrawal, it's a return. And in that return, your outer reality quietly begins to shift. So now you see, stopping your constant availability isn't rebellion, it's resonance. It's not about vanishing from life, it's about reclaiming your frequency. Because in truth, not being available is a sacred act, an energetic boundary, a spiritual choice that says, I'm no longer feeding the version of me that was exhausted, scattered, and unseen. And that shift, subtle, invisible at first, begins altering your field. You notice you feel clearer. Others respond with more presence. Life mirrors back something new. This is how reality shifts. Not always through spectacular flashes, but through the stillness between responses, through the power of delayed engagement, through the simple yet profound act of turning inward. So here is your quiet challenge. For the next 72 hours, reduce your availability to the bare minimum. Silence the unnecessary. Resist the urge to explain. Let the void breathe. And then watch what begins to move around you. If you feel something shift in your energy, your clarity, your relationships, share in the comments. Your story may be the mirror someone else needs. And if you'd like me to develop a deeper spiritual practice for internal disconnection, a full ritual for energetic withdrawal and reconnection, let me know below. Because maybe this was never about disappearing. Maybe it was always about remembering the sacred power of your presence.